you're beyond the pale. If you have a problem whether you vote for me or you vote for Trump, you ain't black.
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Get off.
Welcome to the You Ain't Black show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it was like he skipped a gear.
That was a good dementia Joe.
So,
What's up, y'all?
what's going
How's
on,
it going, man?
Hey,
What's going on?
glad to have you back. As always, you're always more than welcome,
Yeah,
like every other person that comes on the show.
Yeah.
But we had to come back on because we had a little beef with someone very in particular. You want to talk about that?
The hip hop community at large.
Yeah, man.
Are you talking about Taliqua?
Get off.
And Royce. And
Well,
Royce.
Lucas like, oh,
And
man,
Royce.
take a shot.
Yep. Bang, bang.
So for the most part, if you guys saw the last one, we had our boy Mega Man come on, and at the end of the day, like if you've seen us on Instagram, you've seen what happened. So we gave him a platform just for him to speak, because again, these 5 or 6 celebrities that are well known, if you've seen, Tyrese, Royce the 5'9", DL Hughley, that dude,
Comedian Godfrey.
Comedian Godfrey, and of course Talib calls, I forget his name.
Kweli.
Yeah, that guy. Mr. Donald Lemon don't know his name. And so we gave him a platform to speak. And we were gonna let it go. It was over and done with. Yeah. But then Talib Kweli, or whatever his name, starts calling us white supremacists.
Yeah. Neo-Nazis.
And Royce wanted to say that we look like the Three Stooges from Me, Myself, and Irene. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, okay, so now we have to respond back, because at the end of the day, like, it's all respect. But if you're going to start the name calling and do that, then we got to respond. Yeah. So, Craig, what happened?
But Nick, I'm trying to stay within code. I'm working on myself. Man, get out of here, man.
So what happened when he started going back and forth? What happened in the comments on the Talib Kweli, whatever his name? I think Lucas, you saw a little bit of it. Hulk, you saw. Yeah. We were all in the mix of it. So break bread, Craig.
So I mean, like, it's our boy Brian, man.
Yeah.
I seen this video. Obviously, I'm aware of it going viral with his kids in the video. And I seen the back and forth between you guys and how he's tagging you guys. Mm-hmm. So Brian, I know him. There's nothing racist or white supremacist about this guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I felt like I took Lucas's approach. Man, let me try to come on some sensible, a nice sensible comment to him and tag him at the same time. So I simply asked him respectfully, like, yo, what's your end goal with this? Mm-hmm. What are you trying to accomplish with this? Like, do you really believe any person that voted for Trump, they're all white supremacists and Nazis? Right. And he literally just clapped back like, no, you're a Nazi. You're a white supremacist. Right. So I was like, all right, he didn't mess with the wrong troll.
Yeah. But see, Craig, like, the problem is I've been literally, after the first instance when I called him out and I called him a plantation overseer, right? Then I took a different approach and I started to, I don't even care about the name calling. I started to address. You don't think
maybe since you started out by calling him that?
I started out, that was in response to being called the neo-Nazi.
Right.
So that was my first response. But then I took a different approach. And because the comments about attacking us personally didn't matter to me, I feel that his comments about misrepresentation, about the origins of the Democrats and the Ku Klux Klan and the neo-Nazis, I feel that that's a dangerous narrative. So I started attacking that narrative, right? And this dude is steady. It's almost like he won't even address the topics that I'm coming at him with. Right. He is steady calling me names, calling neo-Nazis, coons, white supremacists.
Now, that's default, though. That's the default when it comes to any type of leftist. Yeah. They don't have anything else. They have nothing productive to say. So all they do is say, hey, I don't know I don't have any substantive argument to give you. So neo-Nazi, white supremacist, white man's dog, white man's clown, grifter, whatever. That's all they have. That's
and
all
like I keep telling people, just like black people, Trump supporters are not a monolith.
Thank you.
We come in all shapes, all
sizes,
backgrounds, all ethnicities, sexes, everything.
And I want to say this. For the actual, we talk about not having an argument, so going into name calling, but the ignorance of saying white supremacists to black people. Let's remind this. We're all black.
Yeah.
And for you to call somebody a white supremacist when they're black shows not only the ignorance, the unintellectual debate, aspect to it.
Yeah.
But the irresponsibility you have with a huge platform like
Right.
he does.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Right.
that is the hypocrisy that we're pointing out. We're pointing this out, that these people have these huge giant platforms, and along with the rest of Hollywood, they spew anti-right rhetoric, anti-Trump, anti-conservatism values, race baiting, and at the end of the day, promoting racism.
Yeah, and it's all lies too.
It is.
And that's why I would like to challenge people like Royce the 5'9" and people like Talib Kweli. I would like to challenge you about you calling us neo-Nazis and white supremacists for supporting President Trump when President Trump is indeed the first black president.
Let's go.
Right?
Let's go.
The first black president
Let's
according
go.
to policy. The first black president. The first president at all to even have a black agenda.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the things that actually affected the black community for the better, and not this rhetoric, the narrative that you keep repeating over and over like a broken record from CNN. You really believe that the Charlottesville both people on good sides narrative. That's not even thinking for yourself. That's just literally parroting CNN. So if you're down to have a discussion and a debate about why President Trump is the first black president, then let's do it.
See, I really want to touch on what Kick said. These people have huge platforms. Huge platforms. I mean, 500K followers, 900K follers, 1 million followers. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
13 million.
You see what I'm saying?
13, not one.
Instead of attacking certain elements or certain subjects like sex trafficking.
Thank you.
You understand what I'm saying? Black on black crime, which is running rampant in our neighborhoods. You know, things that actually uplift the black community, since they claim to be pro-black. They claim all the time to be so pro-black, but when it comes to actual substantive issues, they don't want to tackle that. They want to constantly promote certain ideologies that, us on the right, all of us, like you were saying, we're neo-Nazis.
Exactly.
We're white supremacists. How is that possible? And that's what I really can't stand. We really need to have a conversation with these people. That's what we're trying to do.
Literally.
Is have a conversation with these people like, hey, let's tackle some actual issues. Let's actually talk about this. Let's have an intellectual conversation about what's going on. But they can't do that because they're stuck to they're married to a narrative that all of us are black white supremacists, or the Clayton Bigsby's, you know what I'm saying?
Clayton Bigsby's. But you know why that's also extremely inflammatory and dangerous for just not only the black community, but for America as a whole, is because they're literally making it divisive. Just like how one of the formulas for slavery, divide and conquer, right?
Sir.
So they divided us by light skin versus dark skin.
Yes, sir.
Now they're dividing us by conservatism and liberals. If you black, you black. So why are people being shamed for taking pictures with Candace Owens? So we can't work with people like Candace Owens. We can't work with conservatives to better the black community. And people like the ladies on The View, I don't know why they're still actually on.
Right.
You know?
No, go ahead. Continue.
Because that's the divisive narrative. Whether you are conservative, whether you are a Biden supporter or a Trump supporter, you should be able to work across the lines for the betterment of the community.
See, that's what I thought it was about. It was supposed to be a bipartisan effort.
Yeah.
They always talk about bipartisan, but when it actually comes down to it, for the betterment of society, all of a sudden it's knocked down. It's not even addressed because they don't really want bipartisan efforts. They don't want bipartisan any type of betterment for society when it comes to bipartisanship.
Exactly.
They just want to be able to say, hey, they want a virtue signal. It really just boils down to virtue signaling at the end of the day. It really does. Yeah.
Well, how do you know that they're not just ignorant because they watch mainstream media, which just, couldn't it just be kind of an ignorance because I don't, follow politics every day because I'm just trying to make sure that my flow is as awesome as it could be?
But that's the thing. These pseudo
How am
woke
I the one
celebrities.
giving them the biggest benefit of the doubt?
well, that's the thing. I feel like these pseudo woke celebrities, they are informed. They're probably more informed than the average person that does just sit at home and watch CNN. And that I believe that just comes with the lifestyle of celebrities, the way they move around. They go to a lot of different countries. They're involved in a lot of different circles. They see things that the average person will never even see. So they know what's going on. But I feel like a lot of these people are literally paid to just steer the reins.
You're
the Democratic reins.
This is your position. you're supposed to play this position to the fullest. I don't care if it's going to hurt the black community. I don't care if it's going to misrepresent the black community or misrepresent other communities such as the white community. Because, I mean, you see what these people are talking about. Yeah. You see what these people are saying. They're saying that pretty much every white person who puts on any type of hat that's of the right, you're automatically a white supremacist. Automatically. Which it's just crazy. A blanketed statement, and it's a blanketed ideology that they maintain. Yeah. And this is what we're up against. We gotta beat it down.
So Craig, we are talking about the fact that their irresponsibility of their platforms. When you see the argument of just white supremacists when we're black, okay, that's the intellectual debate done. Yeah. It's done. But the fact that they have these huge platforms and they spew this racism, and they say that we're not racist. Like Kweli even said, pro-black is equality, but pro-whiteness is not KKK. So I just wanted to say, since Craig.
I just got shushed.
No. I just wanted to finish my thought. So Craig,
you got stifled.
What about what do you think about the irresponsibility that they have for those huge platforms when they could be doing a lot more things productive, like you said, black on black crime and things of that sort, but they don't, and they spill racism. And then they want to say that we're the black leaders moving us forward. Remember, Roy said moving us forward.
Moving us forward.
So what do you think about that?
Well, sorry for the technical difficulties. For one, it immediately shows the level of maturity that they have, right? Just from our experience from this whole ordeal. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, baby.
Okay. I didn't know if you guys could hear me. It shows their level of immaturity. Also, it shows me that even though they have the successes that they have, they're not ready for the responsibility to lead with that type of influence. And it's like me and Lucas were talking on the other day. They're in a position to where even if they deep down inside know some of the things and these agendas will hurt our communities and people just in general in America, they can't speak out on it because the same people that they're supporting pay their checks. And the moment that they go against that, they will be canceled by the same people that are so-called supporting them right now. What's that actor right now that
Don Cheadle?
No, for the Star Wars.
The
actor for the Star Wars that just came out.
Gina Carano.
Reviews, and they canceled her.
Yeah.
So it's like these celebrities, these pro-black, these activists, they think that they're activists, but it's funny. On one hand, they create suicidal poetry with great beats, right? Like WAP and all these shoot 'em up, bang, bang, stop snitching campaigns, degrade the woman, drugs and mollies and all these things. And then the next thing you know, when it's hot, when Black Lives Matter type of things come up, all of a sudden they're activists now. They're, you know what I mean? If you look at Meek Mills, what he did, he was all about gangster this, gangster that. Yeah. I'll catch you, put your melon out, or what, all that nonsensical rhetoric that they preach in their suicidal rap poetry with good beats. And then next thing you know, he wants to be an activist and talk about prison reform and stuff because it affected him directly when he was on probation, which he was. We won't go into detail with that, but it's an oxymoron to me. You guys are laughing at me. But I just think that these guys, they're not the gatekeepers for any community in America.
Well, that's
a good point.
They are, but the biggest frustration, at least for me as an onlooker, is I could live in a world of 100% cancel culture. If I knew that you just have to watch out for everything you say and it were evenly applied, I'd adapt and I'd find a way. I prefer a world of reverse cancel culture where we just forgive everybody and, we're very, very
just move on.
Benevolent and we just move on. But it's not that they just want to cancel everybody. They only cancel one side. Lest we forget, I'm putting this up right now. Lest we forget, Hillary Clinton and Bill de Blasio literally made a CP time joke. They made a CP time joke that was a play on words of of a joke I dare not say on air in case somebody clipped it and held it against me when I ran for office. And the headline says what? That Clinton and de Blasio land CP time joke with unfortunate timing. So you can't say, hey, I think voter ID is a good idea and be Gina Carano without literally getting fired from your job. Meanwhile, these fools are straight up dropping CP time jokes.
Democrats can say anything they want to black people.
Right.
With no reproach.
I mean, listen to this. She literally says,
Donald's a chump. Let him go.
actually, I can't even get to it because they're so busy like clapping for, you know.
I just have to say, thanks for the endorsement, Bill. Took you long enough.
Oh, snap!
Oh, my God.
And then wait. Here it comes.
Sorry, Hillary. I was running on CP time.
That's not. I don't like jokes like that, Bill.
Who the hell does
got a black
he think he is?
Politician time.
Dog.
Oh, so it's just conservative politician time. No, sweat it.
Right.
It just
Who
has
the hell
unfortunate
Who they
timing.
think they are?
Yeah.
No,
Dude,
I'll
that
tell you
was a
exactly who they think they
subliminal-
are. They think
that
that
was
they are
subliminal, dude.
the plantation owners.
They do.
They own black people.
Yeah.
And they can say and treat black
they're
people
like the
any way
Chelsea
they want.
handlers.
Exactly.
They think she's a black handler.
Chelsea, the Negro handler.
Literally.
Chelsea, the 50
Dude,
handler.
that was a subliminal. It's CPT time.
Yeah.
Color people time. We say that. Oh no, it's just come on, man.
See what I'm saying?
People
That
are
was
off the
just
chain,
as
man.
cringe as the hot sauce comment. But that's the
You
thing
see?
with Democrats. Democrats literally think that the way to effectively communicate to black people is to shuck and jive and do some kind of dance on stage. You got to play some kind of hip hop music. Did y'all see the cringe video that fucking... I mean, he used to be a legend. This dude lost all respect. DMC from Run DMC just teamed up with New York guy and did a vaccine video, and he's
The
rapping.
vaccine video, I seen
And he's
that.
rapping, telling black people about why it's safe to take it, and telling black people you should take
Here
this
we
vaccine.
go.
Even though we're most susceptible to actually
Fucking
having
Run
these-
DMC.
Here we go.
But then on the other hand, they want to bring up the syphilis experience.
Exactly.
They want to complain and talk. Oh. But then on another hand, dude, I can't keep up with their rhetoric, man.
You know,
It's literally doing mental backflips in my head, man, trying to keep up with these people.
Yeah.
Literally.
You know what? I just want to say this because it just came to my mind right now. The fact that we have, because again, we always say that Malcolm X said that, you know, our leaders of Black America will be entertainers,
Speak on it.
and
And
Hollywood's
athletes.
not actual real black politicians or black, you know, outspoken leaders for our communities. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to everything we're
So
saying
true.
right now, and I'm going, okay, not only did he predict it, but this is the main thing that I want to get across to people is that they are the gatekeepers that have been pushing us down. Now, we talk about poverty in our inner cities,
Yes, sir.
and we blame it on systemic racism, but really it's about that we keep voting for Democrats, right? So it's a political thing.
Yeah.
But then we have these people that are on the top that continue to promote gangs, violence, drugs,
Yep.
profit off of it,
Yep.
right? And obviously, we know that the father's not in the home,
And they become our leaders.
And then the father's out of the home. The kid wants to gangbang because that's what they see, that's what they hear, that's what the people that are in the hood doing. So obviously, they look to them as big brothers or fathers.
Father figures,
The cycle continues, and these people that have these giant platforms can change it overnight.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they really just
If
took
they
on
really
that
wanted to,
responsibility and that role.
Yeah. And
But
see-
yet we tried to tell them to do it,
Yeah.
and then they call us white supremacists.
Thank you.
But also, Nick, you just touched on something too that I feel like is kind of a part of the insidious effect, right? Is how they're literally putting like the woman ahead and all this feminism
Yup.
thing, and they want to take the man out of the house, and they're literally making it to where this toxic
checks.
masculinity thing, to where they don't want men involved in raising the families, right? So what happens to a society when the women are in control?
becomes effeminate.
Thank you. I always feel like if the man was to take charge, I don't mean to sound like, you know, take charge of your woman or anything, but if the man was to just be a leader,
Yeah. Head
then
of the
the
household,
women
it's
will
supposed to be.
follow suit.
Yeah, he's the enforcer.
Yeah.
He's the enforcer
so
in the family.
also,
There's no enforcer. That's when they'll go to the streets because there's no
exactly.
enforcer.
So it's dangerous when people I thought it was a good thing. Don't get me wrong. When Oprah Winfrey came out with her school of leadership for girls in South Africa, but at the same time it was an all-girl school. Why wouldn't you come out with the school of leadership for black boys in Africa? Because when you create black men leaders, then the women will follow them, right? But if you create nothing but black women leaders, then where are the men going to fit into that?
Because society.
Where will the men fit into that?
Go ahead.
Well, civilization has been built on the backs.
That's what I was about to say.
Come on now, you know what it is.
Go ahead, take it.
Civilization is built on the backs of men, strong men.
We went to war.
Thank you. That's what we did. And we forged societies, we forged civilizations. That's what we do as men. And the women are nurturers, and that's the thing. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I don't know why people consider women as being nurturers as something that's weak. That's a sign of weakness.
They can make babies. We
You
can't.
can't. That's a superpower.
I mean,
But women will willingly take the lead of a strong alpha male.
Thank
willingly.
you.
Look, check this out. Let's go back to slavery.
By the way,
right?
The things that you guys can say without everybody going absolutely crazy.
We're all sexist.
You know what
on
I'm
this show.
saying? Like, the things that you can say.
Male masculinity,
If that were to
toxicity.
be me, holy smoke. And I will just, I'm just going to kind of repackage what you said. It's not like, you have to make good male leaders in order for all the women to follow because there's this, absolutely dogmatic hierarchy. I think some of the earliest feminists that fought for like maybe suffrage and so on and so forth in the 1800s, who won it through Republican leadership, mind you. You know what I'm saying?
You got it. You got it.
We're trying to say, hey, we can be leaders too. I think what you're trying to say is like, whether we like it or not, there's natural hierarchies and balances of yin and yang.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why women are good at some things. There's a reason why men are good at some things.
Exactly.
And if you make it so that you focus only on one, well, now all of a sudden we got a problem of imbalance.
Right.
And that problem of imbalance is not good for anybody because whether it's a hormonal imbalance, whether it's a social imbalance, whether it's a power dynamic imbalance
it's an
between
imbalance.
two equal parties, it's
an
bad.
imbalance.
So it's not like, you got to do men first so the women follow, which I'm sure they'll probably try and clip us as having said. It's that you need to maintain that balance. And when you do not, if you try to walk with one foot, you're going to fall over before you get 3 steps into
Preach.
Go,
Thank
Craig.
you.
Go, Craig.
Preach.
What you think about that?
I mean, it's just to add to what you guys are saying. If we go back in slavery, right? First, before we go into that, what is the instinct of the mother? What is the maternal instinct?
To nurture and protect.
To nurture and protect.
Got it.
Now, let's go into slavery. When we had a strong male that would buck on the slave master, what did they do to that strong male that used to buck?
They emasculated
They would set an
him
example.
in front
they
of
would
his
hang
family.
him, castrate him,
Yes.
put feathers all over him, and they would make the mother and the children watch. And the reason why they would make them watch is because the mother's motherly instinct would naturally be to nurture and to protect the child.
Got it. Speak on
and
it.
through over time and time of that what happens is
I get where you're
they
going with this.
they teach you to no, don't do that because they want you to stay alive. So they teach you to not have that aggression. That aggression. So just using that, if you guys are vibing where I'm going with this.
Yes, sir.
What is happening now within our communities? We have a lack of fatherhood, right?
Exactly.
Barack Obama, their savior, already told you the statistics of no single-family homes. We're 5 times more likely to living in poverty, committing a crime, 9 times more likely to dropping out of school, 20 times more likely to go into prison. We have our grandmamas, our mothers, our aunts. The women are raising us because the father is separated. Whether he's locked up, he's just abandoned them.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lucas.
You just reminded me, were you all aware of, I was reading this recently, that in a lot of African cultures, that male children are taken away from the mothers at the age of 12
when they get
years
to a
old,
certain age,
and they're raised
remove
by
them
the
and they
men
go to
of the
be with
community.
father. Playtime is over.
Yeah, you are not raised by your mother once you reach the age of 12. You're raised by the men of the community on how to be a man, and then you return to society as a man. Exactly, because women can't raise these boys to be men. That's how they do it in African culture.
And look, I know somebody's gonna say, "Well, my mama raised me, and I'm a strong man," and that's not what we're saying.
We're not saying that.
You can still grow up to be a strong man, but it's nothing like having a father, the father bring you up, man, or having that father figure bring you up.
Hey, so I grew up without a father. My mother raised me, and she died like at a young age. Once when my grandpa, former Marine, got a hold of me, I got. To be honest with you, I'll be real with you. You know what I mean? It's a total different change because like we're talking about right now, like you're raised from your mother for a certain point, but then it was like no, because obviously she passed away. But as soon as I went with my grandfather, boy, it's a whole nother world.
From milk to meat.
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. Yes, sir. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, right, we used to play that little game. This is back when all those little consoles were starting to hit hard, like the Sega Genesis, right? We was playing the game. My mama say, all right, come and eat. It's dinner time. We'd be like, man.
Yeah.
And we still playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I already know. Say it again. All right, now they told y'all, come on and eat. Yeah. We like, oh yeah, we still playing the game. But it was something about that voice. It didn't matter where it was in the house.
That deep voice.
When that joker said, hey, man, we was like, oh, snap. We
better get up and go.
Let me put this, come on, man, we got to go.
I know what you're talking about, that bass voice that was from the kitchen when you were upstairs on the third room and you hear that thing echo through the hallway.
You respond right away, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what the difference is? Like in my household, a lot of times that bass would be coming from upstairs and we would be downstairs. And once we get upstairs, what? Turn the light off. Literally. And we would be so mad. Like, you called us upstairs to turn the light off.
Hey. What you call me for? Get my remote.
Exactly. I think every dad does that.
Yeah. Dude, this is why I had children.
Exactly. Damn, I need me some children, man.
Dude, I will never forget.
What? I'm curious.
Dude, for years, in my dad, in our first house, when we drove home, we didn't get a remote garage door opener. That was still kind of new technology in the 80s, right? When they started having those long distance remotes to have the garage door opener. And I'd always be like, oh, Dad, like it'd be raining, it'd be sunshine, a nice day, a hot day, whatever the day. I would always have to get out of the car and then go open the garage door so that the family could drive in. And I'd be like, Dad, why don't we get a garage door opener? And he'd always be like, I don't need a garage door opener. I got you.
And you know what, man? I'm glad you're sharing that with us because I'm curious, just to be transparent, culturally, how was it with you when you were growing up with your father?
Oh, no, I got to tell you, if fatherhood is done right, you only need to discipline a kid 1 or 2 times before he fears enough.
Exactly.
Like my mom disciplined me growing up because I had both sides. My mom was a single mom for the first 5 years.
Okay.
Like I remember, I never remember living with my biological father. I was too young. And so I remember when she married my father. I mean, I call my father because he did the job of raising me. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess around with that whole stepdad thing or whatever. He's my dad. And I do remember, I was always such a great, well-behaved child. You never had to discipline me. But I do remember a marked change in the sense of, like, if he said he was going to discipline me, and I crossed the line, I would get disciplined. Whatever he said he was going to take away, he would take away. Whatever activity he said I was going to miss, I would miss. And he'd say, it's because you did this. And it was a much more, like, I could pull my mom's heartstrings.
Yeah.
You know, you can pull your mom's heartstrings.
All the kids can. Kids can play with the moms all day long.
But he's coming home from work, he's tired, and he's like, dude, when I come home from work, the last thing I want to hear is complaints from your mom. So if I got to discipline you, I'm disciplining you. And he was by no means abusive or anything. He was just a normal dad. And what was funny, though, is it created this atmosphere in which my mom would be like, if I'm going to tell your dad about this.
You straighten up a lot.
And I just remember I'd be like,
exactly. I'm going to tell your dad about this.
No, Mom, like, whatever you do, just don't tell my dad. No. And now I'm bargaining with my mom. Like, I'll clean the dishes twice if you just promise not to tell Dad.
And Cardon, let me tell y'all, you just reminded me, okay, in my household growing up, my dad would always, most likely, he would hit us where it hurt in our pockets with our allowance, right? So literally anything.
Wait, you got an allowance?
We had an allowance.
We got the rich guy.
We had an allowance where, like, literally, like, my sister got, like, I think $20 a week. I got, like, $15 a week. My little brother got, like, $10 a week. And every time you got the honor roll, it went up $1.
That's awesome.
Right? And then, but what he would do is anytime we broke a rule, like, when we got new carpet, you couldn't eat in the living room. But if he saw any food craps, that's $5 off your allowance.
Yes, sir.
$10 off your allowance.
Yes, sir.
if you didn't do anything right, if you got a bad grade, a teacher called $5 off your allowance.
That's real.
That's what it was.
But that's it. I mean,
and it teaches you that currency.
It teaches
Thank you.
the value
the
of a
strength
dollar.
of a father, the strength of a man,
Yeah.
is something unparalleled. I mean, yes, I'm not saying that a woman can't be strong. I'm not saying a mother can't be strong. But at the end of the day, the strength of a man, the strength of a person like a Leonidas, raising up his child, you can't beat that. It's unparalleled.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so effective, and that's why it's so necessary that the father be in the home, as opposed to just having the mother, as opposed to just the mother being married to the state, getting welfare, getting the check, selling out the man for the check. You know what I'm saying? That's why we need that father in the home.
And I'll be real with you right now. Like I witnessed it through my childhood. I mean, I didn't have a father.
Yeah.
My mother was a single mother. She was a nurse, so she wasn't on welfare, nothing like that. And if I didn't have my grandfather, I mean, I could already tell how I could have been. Like if I didn't have my
The
grandfather,
streets would have raised you.
Exactly. Exactly. And I remember my brother, he passed away, he used to bang. And I used to look up to him. Yeah. If I didn't have my grandfather that slapped me in the face and said, "No, this is what you're gonna do. You're not gonna bang because you're gonna lose your Second Amendment, God and country. This is what it is." Like what we're talking about right now. He told me this at a young age. I wouldn't be the person that I am, and I probably would have been banging, and he's dead. Yeah. So you know what I mean? So I think let's get back to the fact that these are the problems that we're having, and these rappers, like we talked about, Kweli, Royce the 5'9", yeah, cool, exactly.
Yeah, they were getting on the guy
for being a father. Exactly. So Craig, what we're talking about, and everything that we just talked about right now, those people, they say they lead Black America. They say we're trying to move us forward. Remember, Royce said, we're going to stop these people that hinder us from moving forward. Right. Forward what?
Yeah.
What are we moving forward?
What agenda are you moving forward?
What the dude Royce the 5'9", even though he at least responded in the way that he responded through a video, but through his nonsensical rhetoric that he had within the video, it's like he had to maintain a certain image that he has to his audience.
Right,
I can still see through that he has some form of reasoning.
Yeah, that's true.
Within him. Right. Like I believe if we all were in the room and we had just a man-to-man talk
on it
would probably go really well with this guy.
Yes, I agree.
Now,
I agree.
Now Talib Kweli, I don't know about him.
Yeah.
I believe if we did catch him on a one-on-one and we were talking, it would go well. But online, they have to portray this image.
Yeah.
But his behavior shows me a lack of maturity.
Yes.
Right. And what makes me afraid, what concerns me the most is the fact that these people have such influence through their arts and music. If you remember, he was a conscious rapper. He was on some straight conscious stuff. Like Lucas, like we were talking about. I believe the old Talib Kweli wouldn't be going for the stuff that's going on now. A lot of these different things within the agendas, right? And I'm going to keep it just simple.
It's like willful ignorance.
Go ahead. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like willful ignorance.
Willful, financially viable.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Craig, so what about his statement though about, pro-black is equality, but pro-whiteness is Nazi and KKK.
Yeah. It's a double standard.
Like, how come you can't be proud to be white?
See,
but how is it pro-black?
See, but that's
what is pro-black? I always thought that was stupid.
What is it?
What is pro-black? I'm black,
pro-black?
right? So me being, what am I supposed to be anti-black?
No. See,
am I supposed to be anti-human?
What I can't stand about this whole thing is being pro-black doesn't mean you have to be anti-white.
Exactly.
That's what I don't understand.
But the way that they portray it is it's all anti-white, anti-American, anti-everything else. It's just all about us.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes.
And our communities, because we're going to be real, because it's lack of knowledge. Our communities are the last ones to prosper, and we've been going through this for decades, and we keep thinking it's racism when really it's these key issues about policy, about politics, about the Democrats. Yeah. It's about taxes. Higher taxes equals poverty. Lower taxes equals opportunity. And these people that are in charge, I'm not even going to say in charge, but looked at as leaders,
the gatekeepers,
are ignorant.
They're perpetuating.
It's like they're raging an identity war.
Right.
It's like an identity war.
So how do we get through this, Craig?
Sorry, I'm not Craig. Sorry, I apologize, man. I was just going to say, in mirror of what you said before Craig responds, is that the other thing is they're always saying, oh, you can't have this white savior complex, right? And I remember when I started this show, I didn't think I was saving anybody.
Right.
I thought, dude, here's 3 awesome dudes who've got a great voice that are a riot, by the way, to produce a show with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do as much as I can to help further their voice, right?
Right.
No savior complex,
Right.
no supremacy about it.
Right.
And it's also not because they're black. You know what I'm saying? Because I view it like it's because this is a conservative message. Now, I'd be a stupid marketer if I didn't recognize that a guy with biceps like MAGA Hulk, you know what I'm saying, is it unique enough, you know, a giant black Hulk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would be lying if I didn't say, okay, there's a marketing advantage there that we got to roll with, you know what I'm saying? Because he's literally as large as the Hulk, you know what I'm saying? But at the same token, you know, you don't have to say like, oh, it's for black America, oh, it's for white America. It can literally just be for America.
Yeah.
And that's really where liberalism was. And it's like my heart breaks because I'm like a total 1990s liberal. Like this idea of wanting diversity. Diversity is our strength. Yeah, I want it. Yeah. But the only way diversity works is if we all believe there's a common America that we share.
Yes. Right.
And I'm all about helping the poor, and I'm all about helping the poor. But the poor will only be helped through capitalism and pulling themselves out of poverty.
Yes.
The Black Panthers were the Black Panthers and stopped all of the violence against them from the Oakland police because they walked around with armed patrols, much like the Minutemen policed their own communities with armed patrols. So, you know, like you have to be Second Amendment aware and realize that it's the Bill of Rights that actually pulls Black America, also known as America,
you got
forward. And that is the worst and most pernicious thing about what I think has been lost. Is that in our desire to give unique and specialized treatment to certain groups, we've destroyed these communities. And I do think one of the things that you have to bring up to Black America that has been successful, at least with me, and I know somebody's going to clip this and call me racist for having said, talk to Black America about this, but I said this on the Andrew Yang podcast all the time. You need to look at the cause of the ruin, at least statistically, of the community. You want to complain as a community that academia sucks? Well, guess who runs academia? They're all leftists. You want to complain that the movies and Hollywood and the music industry misrepresents you? Who runs the music industry?
Well,
okay, you want to say that every one of these organizations.
You bring up some good points, but at the end of the day, I feel like that's literally going back to the dependency that we've been doing for generation after generation.
Oh, yes.
Now, I've been proposing this for a while, right? Like the community watch thing that the Black Panthers did in Oakland back in the 60s is that's what we should do in the major cities now, like Chicago. There should be no reason why senseless deaths are happening over and over in Chicago, and yet we got this don't trick policy, no rat policy with the police. I feel like if the men of the community in Chicago took up, and any women that wants to join forces too, you're welcome to join as well too, and literally police our community. So when a random drive-by shooting happens and you spray the block and a 5-year-old girl gets shot, the community is not going to stand for it. Not only will we apprehend and arrest that person and take them to the police ourselves, but if they happen to get away, the community will stand for it. That's what kind of car he drives. He lives on that block. And we rid our community out of these parasites.
And I would just say this before you go, Craig. The problem also too is that people in charge already figured this out, and that's the reason why Democrat-run cities it doesn't have open carry, and they limit the 2A method. When people in the right when right states understand it, and they give them the ability for open carry and things like that. So and oddly enough, I don't know, Hulk or Craig, take this one. Is that why? It's in poverty? Is that why it's predominantly in black neighborhoods? Because those Democrats have forced us to abide by these laws that are anti-2A, and thus now we see.
And they push welfare too.
Mark, I'm going to definitely catch some slack for this one. It's partially the Democratic Party policy. I know somebody said that's systemic racism. Partially, it's personal responsibility.
Thank you.
We have to take personal responsibility for us as minorities within America. It's called generational decision making, man.
Come on now.
No one is making anybody. There's no white supremacist, racist dust that we breathe in that makes us go and lay with a woman and have a child at a whitlock.
Speak on
There's
it.
no racist white dust that goes around and makes us abandon a woman to have
Speak
to
on
not
it.
only carry the child, go take the breathing classes, actually go through birth, and then leave her abandoned. To what is she supposed to do?
Yeah.
She got to go and get on welfare.
Welfare,
She has
yeah.
to get the things to provide. She's a mother.
Yeah.
Her motherly
To provide.
instincts are going to kick in to protect and nourish the child. There's no racist white dust going around that we can breathe in to where we go and we pick up a firearm and we shoot each other.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Or we go out and do the things that we do towards ourselves. I don't want to hear the excuse of, it's proximity.
Yeah, bullets don't
No,
have
it's
names.
not. Nobody else is doing
It's not
the
proximity.
rate of murders
Self-hatred.
as we do. The rate of hatred that we have for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to me that the moment something from a white police officer, how quickly we come together and we come up with these untangible causes like Black Lives Matter with our very divisive slogans, right, that mean different things to different people. How we come together for that, but we won't say a single word. We uphold stop snitching campaigns that these celebrities push through their suicidal poetry with good beats on their little rap song.
Speak
right?
on it. Speak on it, brother.
So at some point we have to change the generational decision making and going back to those traditional things that we had from our forefather leaders that policed our own community. Another thing, if the man wasn't abandoned, he took up the responsibility and he worked hard. He taught the child, he protected the child. He worked hard and left the child an inheritance. We can't continue to keep pointing the finger saying, well, we started the race out. They got a head start before us. Everybody's heard this before. When you're running a race, you don't look to the side to see where the other person is. You run your own race.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And so I go back to this, and I know you guys are going to be like, whoa, he's going in right now.
Take it.
If we go back to Booker T. Washington, right? It's
Booker
Black History Month.
Yeah. Our
If
boy.
we go back to Booker T. Washington, and I say this all the time, and I'm known for saying it, Booker T. Washington in his era, this is a guy that was born into slavery. He walked over 500 miles just to go to a small school in Virginia.
Yes, sir.
So eventually he led his own institute that is still here today, right? He was faced with real racial adversity, real systemic racism. Whatever roadblock you could put in front of him, because he was black, he experienced it. But yet he dedicated his entire life to education and being excellent. And everybody that came under his tutelage, everybody that was in that era was the same way. They respected each other. They built their own businesses. They built their own communities. They had nuclear families. They respected the woman. They got married. They had kids. And it perpetuated on and on and on.
Yeah.
With knowing that type of adversity and things that they went through at that time compared to 2021, where is it at?
Yeah.
At some point, we have to take responsibility.
You're right.
Speaking of responsibility.
And so I think with everything that we said right now, I think that, Hulk, I think you should take this away, is that moving forward as Black America, there's a lot of issues. And we have a education, like you said, education is the problem because we blame it on systemic racism when it's 2021 and there is no systemic racism anymore. Our forefathers, our Black forefathers already fought this fight. I think what the education part of it is that we think we're still in poverty, so it must be racism when it's a lot more other factors. So Hulk, tell me again, just take it away so we can, what are these factors in which that it's not racism, but what's really holding us back?
We are holding ourselves back at the end of the day. Self-accountability and responsibility are two things I always preach when it comes to the Black community. We need to implement these things if we want to get our, as they say, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and keep it pushing. This no snitching policy is one of the worst things I've ever seen in the hood.
Really?
Right? We're shooting ourselves, we're killing ourselves, but yet and still we're going to let the killer walk free while we're decimating our own communities. We're showing that we don't care about one another. We're showing we don't care, but yet and still we're pro-Black, right? We're pro-Black. You know, it's issues like this that really, it pisses me off, frankly. It really pisses me off because we're called to self-haters. Yeah. We're called to self-haters. When it's the conservatives, the Black conservatives that are constantly trying to advance the black community. We're constantly trying to look out for the black community. We're constantly trying to uplift the black community and try to get us to understand and educate the black community and get us to understand what's really going to help us in the long run. When it's the left that all they do is tear us down. All they do is tell us that we're wrong. We're coons. We're Uncle Toms. And the like. And they call us self-haters while they hate on their own people, their own communities. And it's disgusting. I'm so sick of it, man.
You know what? I can echo that by saying this really fast, because that reminds me. I just saw a meme somebody posted on Instagram that said white people are walking around acting like they have amnesia and forgetting that they don't like black people. And I commented and I said, no. Actually, it's black people with amnesia forgetting that they don't like black people. Because we have been tricked to respond emotionally, to be emotionally triggered by what liberals tell us to be offended by.
Yes, sir.
Anytime a black person is taken by the hands of a white cop. But what about literally, we will turn the other, just turn
blind
our
99%, 99%.
We will turn our heads to the black on black crime that happens right in our face.
Blind eye.
So you don't care about that.
It's proximity.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
but come on.
It's proximity.
But that's another trick that we've fallen for.
And we get it from the white liberal. Check this out. This goes to even more personal responsibility. We're impregnated so much through the white liberal excuses, and
I think you meant to say indoctrinated, not impregnated. Yeah.
Hey, Craig.
That was a really good one, though.
That was a double entendre for real.
Hey, Craig. In living color.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig. Literacy.
Literacy, man. Yeah, I got him, didn't I, guys?
Wait. So are y'all actually saying that maybe Joe Biden was on to something when he said, unlike the African American community, the Latino community is a diverse community?
Yeah.
So
was he on to something?
I think he was.
Beyond the pale.
So Craig, go ahead and finish your point. Go ahead and finish your point on that.
So they call us white supremacists, right? But they uphold all white liberal ideology, man.
Yes.
When they say the whole power, the privilege to power, white privilege to power, white folks is the only ones that can be racist, that comes from a white liberal named Patricia, literally.
Wow.
Right? It comes from a white liberal.
Yeah.
The whole privilege to power argument of why we can't be racist, black people can't be racist, it comes from a white liberal. So it's like they uphold.
Shout out to Malcolm X.
So they uphold the white liberal saying that we're not capable.
Right.
Yeah.
We started. We've been hugely marginalized. We're not able.
It's oppressive.
Affirmative action. You know, and it's degrading. It's disrespectful. And it's like, look, none of us are disabled.
Yeah.
We all have our 4 limbs. We have the ability to do and be just like anybody else in America. Right?
Is being black disabled? Like, is being black in America a disability?
Not at all.
But they keep preaching it like it is a disability.
Right. It's a soft bigotry of low expectations.
Right. Of course, y'all know I don't see being black as a disability.
Not at all. You know what I'm saying?
And so I think for Twali, whatever Quali, I think for Royce, I think for Rice 69 or whatever, Tyrese,
Royce the 69,
and the rest of these woke celebrities. I think you guys can understand that there's a lot of movement that we need to go as Black America. And you know what? You're not helping the situation when you're ignorant. You don't understand politics. You want to get into politics when you're ignorant. And you know what? When it comes to politics, you should really let people, you know, like we said, Malcolm X says the leaders are going to be supposedly celebrities. Maybe you should start looking towards those black people in Black America that do politics for a living.
Yeah, real community leaders.
Yes.
And how like with us, like I'm not saying we're leaders, but I'm saying that like we don't do this for money.
No.
Y'all make millions of dollars.
Thank you.
We do this for free because we love Black America.
Yes. But we're the grifters, right?
We're the real disciples for change.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And so with that being said, for those of you out there that see this, I just want you guys to understand that there's an olive branch There's not hate. There's not fighting. And again, when it comes to racism, we really have to have an honest conversation.
A real conversation.
On it,
so moving forward, I think there's other topics that we got to get into because a lot of things have developed in the past week. And I think who wants to start off by talking about?
Let's talk about the Cuomo. The New York deaths with COVID-19.
Here you go, baby, right here.
Here we go.
Come on.
This guy.
So we already knew that he was responsible for a lot of deaths by senior citizens, people over the age of 70, by putting them in the nursing homes, right? But what we didn't know, what a lot of people didn't know, is that he was literally hiding the numbers of the deaths to avoid a federal investigation by President Trump, all the while blaming this on President Trump.
I remember.
Didn't we tell you? Didn't we tell y'all?
You can't make this up.
No.
You can't.
Go ahead, Craig.
You can't. You can't make it up. What was it? I think I seen something where they got up to a number of votes to what is it? You guys are gonna have to fill me in on
New York.
What's going on out there. What'd you say?
For New York, you're talking about, right?
Yeah, New York.
Right.
I mean, not New York. No, not LA. Talking about New York.
New York, right?
They got a number of signatures or something like that. They petitioned or something like that to, I guess, get someone to step down. I could be wrong on what I read.
You talking about California with Governor Newsom?
That's what I thought I was.
Yeah,
that was
with
Newsom.
Newsom. With Newsom, yeah.
Just related to it, because I know
They're
we're
not
going to end up
talking
talking about
about
all the
recalling
4 different
Cuomo.
governors.
Hollywood just gave Cuomo an Emmy. They're not going to recall him. I mean,
an Emmy.
But
he's celebrating.
The recall, I guess the article is the recall on what's going on in LA, what's going on in California. But we already know the criminal. What's my girl, Real Tina 40? She speaks out on them all the time anyway, so.
Okay. So I mean, I remember seeing this when it started developing, when you know the virus first happened, and I remember reading articles about how this was happening, about as it was happening. We're talking about it now, but when it was happening, how he was ordering, and I don't want to say, but he was involved in removing the information, and I saw that, and then we got to remember, it's not just Cuomo, it's actually 4, and I actually looked this up.
Speak on it.
During the time it happened, 4 Democrat governors.
On it.
I think it's Wolf from. Don't butcher me, but Wolf from Pennsylvania. I think the Michigan girl,
Gretchen Whitmer.
Cuomo and Newsom from California.
It's right here. According to modernhealth.com, it says that prosecutors are sending fact-finding letters to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. All right. And that it's Governor Tom Wolf, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
I remember this when it
happened. New York, Jersey Governor Phil Murphy.
Okay, so I remember when this happened. And I was looking at it and I was extremely upset, and I got to call myself for this one because I actually looked up statistics when it happened. During that time because of their actions, putting COVID patients into nursing homes, that those deaths made up for the majority of the deaths during that time.
Yes, they did.
So. They know, and again, this is allegedly, knowingly put these patients, for the virus, into a susceptible place that everybody knows that you don't put when elderly have.
Speak on it.
What do you call it?
A
weakened immune system. Everybody knows that. This is not by accident.
Come on now. Come on.
That's like manslaughter.
Okay,
Come on now.
Yeah, it is.
That's involuntary manslaughter.
And so knowing as leaders, putting these sick patients into a place where they have weaker immune systems to build up the numbers of the majority. It was the majority because of their decisions. And they were all Democrat-ran states. Just like how all the Democrat-ran and just like the Democrat-run states that kept the riots going, they
speak on it. Speak on it, brother.
Calm down.
You know what I'm saying?
Bring the temperature down.
Yeah, man. Oh
man.
Well, here's what I'll say on the whole thing when it comes to our elderly. My girlfriend works in an ALF, right? And it's the amount of deaths that they've had since this whole thing came down. It wasn't even from COVID.
No.
It's just the old folks, our elderly, they're depressed. They're locked into a room you know what I mean?
They can't get visitors.
Right.
Can't get visitors.
Their family's
they don't see their family.
They'll kill them if they visit.
They're literally in a room all day.
Like prisoners.
It's just sad, man.
Yeah.
They knowingly put people that have viruses into because it's on purpose. That's the point.
They saw these old people as expendable bodies.
Thank you.
Because they wanted to boost up the numbers.
Yes.
They purposely did that to boost up the numbers.
To get more funding and to get more money.
No, they did it on purpose.
To get more funding.
When we try to explain
to cover our butts, I think what he's trying to say is
Again,
them putting them into the nursing homes We would never accuse them of doing it purposefully, but we would say it was demonstrative of such incompetence that you should not be considered a governor and be removed from office immediately.
Yeah, the incompetence.
It's a far more impeachable offense than
recourse.
saying something mean on camera.
Okay, then I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, for disclaimer, they were, because again, we're on YouTube and censorship. Yeah, they, not unknowingly, they, what's the word? They did it by accident, which is not an accident. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So that's where the involuntary manslaughter comes in. That's still illegal.
What do you think about that, Craig or Hulk?
I mean, obviously it's evil. It's an evil thing to do. It just shows you the level of their intolerable behavior is at a level of they'll do anything to get what their agenda. Right. And like I know we're on YouTube. I'm trying to keep it censored as best as I can, man. But I feel like it was just all part of the plan.
Yeah.
I'll just keep it like that.
Part of the master plan.
It's disgusting when you look at the left. You look at the left, and there's so many nefarious plans when it comes to the left. I mean, whether, on purpose or accidentally on purpose or on accident, it seems to always happen in these Democrat-run districts, in these Democrat-run states, where accidentally all these accidents seem to always happen in these Democrat-run areas. And when it comes to Cuomo, he was praised up the wazoo for being such an effective governor. He was a pioneer.
Book and all.
Had a book talking about his own accomplishments when it came to COVID. But yet and still, he's had so many deaths under his belt, and now it's being uncovered that there is some nefarious actions and
the media protected him so badly.
Yes, sir.
I remember the first week of Cuomo being out there. I remember Joe Rogan was saying, "Wow, dude, this guy's awesome. Put me in, coach." And I even watched some of those first meetings where he really projected power and assurance and seemed to be actually cooperating with the Trump administration to get the USS Mercy there. I just remember kind of thinking like, dude, if he can keep this up, he'll win the state of New York and probably presidential election. You know what I'm saying? Like presidential. Even I kind of got even I kind of got whipped up in the whole like pro Cuomo thing.
They caught you too, huh?
Because I mean, I'm bipartisan. Like I will take for my American friends and brothers and neighbors. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. I followed Andrew Yang. I supported him as best I could. I do think Democrats need to adjust some platform things because there's some gruesome crap in there that I am not down with. But it's not like to be pro-Republican either. They've been boneheads, lazy boneheads since Reagan was in charge. All right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'll take whoever is going to save my brother or sister when they're drowning. I don't care if the lifeguard is a Democrat or Republican. If my brother or sister is drowning, I will hug and kiss that person. Okay. Right now, America is drowning, and there's some communities that are further underneath other communities. But I do think it's okay to take a partisan look at these things. If we want to say redlining, it was something during the during the 30s. That cost Black America some huge advances in terms of personal capital through home ownership. Yeah, let's look at it. But then let's also remember, who was the guy that put redlining in charge? Democrat, FDR. You want to talk eugenics and large-scale abortions that affects the Black community more. Who invented it? Margaret Sanger. Democrat. You want to talk about the KKK? Okay, let's talk about them and their atrocities. They're all freaking Democrats. Let's say who's in charge of Baltimore, who's in charge of Detroit, who's in charge of the top 10 counties. Chicago. Who runs these places here in California?
Democrats.
Who runs California into the ground? Democrats. So at one point, if we've got demographics in our country like Black women who are voting 99% Democrat in some of these areas, like, let's start reconsidering this and start thinking maybe it's not that other parties are racist. And if you can't do Republican because somebody convinced you that Frederick Douglass's party and Abraham Lincoln's party and, you know, Booker T. Washington and also Martin Luther King's parents' party, if somehow they've bamboozled you into thinking that that party is the racist party, at least go Green Party. At least, like, I don't know, like Bernie Sanders when he starts his own party or something. Because you can't keep voting 99% for these people.
Well, Lyndon B. Johnson said it and predicted it and said that we'll have them voting for us for the next 200 years.
So we brought up all these accidents, these trends of accidents. So, Craig, is this an accident? I mean, come on now.
No, it's not. It's not an accident. And it's by design. Every year we hear vote or die. We hear Puff Daddy. Take that, take that, take that. Every year, take that, take that, take that.
That's what Cuomo was saying when he sent them to the nursing homes.
You guys
Dude, you're savage, man.
No,
every year we hear vote or die campaigns.
I'm very close to. I'm really. This is YouTube. I'm like, yeah.
But it's sad, man.
That's a great thing to say with a hat on that says American Gangster. Yeah, you're not completely living up to
beyond the pale.
Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead, Craig.
No, I was just saying. I was chiming in, saying he's beyond the pale. But no, man, it's just criminal. Yeah. We know that they're criminal. Yeah. But yet they preach peace, and we got to heal America and bring unity. But does their behaviors, and now that things are starting to resurface, does that seem like unity to you?
And speaking of unity, I'm really worried about what they're doing now with trying to separate like kids from their parents. Did you see that CNN? Should I play that one video?
Break bread, yes. Break bread on that.
This came up in my feed.
And Jill Biden put like love notes on top of the cages, and then CNN were praising her, saying, "Wow, it's so good to have decency back in the White House again."
Lord,
she literally put like hearts and like hope and feeling on the.
Well, we can dig that one up. This is what I worry about. We're gonna watch the first just 30 seconds of this video here that just came out today on CNN or yesterday on CNN. Let's watch this. Watch what they have to say.
I live just a few blocks south of the Capitol, and so I started seeing people walking on the sidewalk heading up to the Capitol with Trump flags and red hats, and I thought to myself, I wonder if my mom's here.
So this video is called When Parents Become Strangers, How QAnon is Tearing Families Apart. QAnon's the new boogeyman, by the way. We got rid of, just Republicans or racist in general.
I thought you were talking about the kids separated. You mean
no,
the kids separated?
No, they're like, watch this. Watch what they've got these young kids thinking.
Unbelievable.
I just thought to myself, let me check her YouTube and see if she happens to be down the street, and lo and behold, she was.
We are here at this rally. Look at this.
She was there protesting and, shoulder to shoulder with people. That's when everything changed for me.
Yeah, so everything changed. Dude, but we're not done with this yet.
Shoulder by shoulder.
Like, look at this. She literally put up a video saying, you know what? I hear there's a rally, and I'm going to go check my mom's social media. And the only thing her mom was guilty of is standing with 2 or 3 other people. Being present in a park in Washington, D.C. Could you imagine... okay, well, we'll keep going here. Let's just keep going here. Watch what their policy prescription is.
I will never stop loving my parents, but it's this switch that flips in them when they're talking about what the latest Q drop means. They're not logical anymore. They're not understanding, and often they're not kind.
Like, literally.
That's indoctrination, man.
Yes, indeed.
They've got a darkened video of a child too afraid to speak for fear of retribution from their parents. Like, this is worse than, like, the videos that they came out with that I don't even dare to... Like, this is beyond Birth of a Nation. I'm sorry. It's like... This is Mao Zedong stuff where he would literally give rewards to children who would rat out their parents that were growing crops to feed their children and avoid starvation. Yep. And they would get punished and killed because you didn't trust in the Great Leap Forward. Yeah. This is the stuff Stalin Stasi would do in actually giving cash payments and Western blackmailed goods. The ultimate irony was kids would rat on their parents for genes that came from the West that they weren't supposed to have. I mean, it was the most hypocritical thing on earth. Wow. But we now literally are creating a society in which the left, in conjunction with the propaganda arm of the DNC, also known as CNN, is literally encouraging children to rat, snitch, whatever you want to call it, on their parents who are not guilty of objective violence. There was no video there that she showed them with Molotov cocktails or with sharpened flagpoles.
Just standing out there.
She was just standing out there, just hanging out.
I know.
You know?
I know Hulk got something for this.
But just by association.
You know. I know Hulk got something for this one.
Here's the thing when it comes to this. Look at who they are targeting. They're targeting the young folk. They're targeting the susceptible ones. They're targeting the kids. And they're putting the kids against their parents and parents. I mean, it's not even parents against their kids. They're putting the kids against their parents. And they're having them, it's this mindset where it's like, again, with the whole Cuomo thing, when they said, look, if no, it was de Blasio. It was de Blasio when he said that if you were going to have anyone that is going to be, I want you to rat them out. Here's a hotline number for, you know what I'm saying? This is what they're doing.
For COVID violations.
For COVID violations, yes. This is what they're doing. This is what the Democrats preach unity all the time, but they are gaslighting at the highest order because at every turn, you look at them, they're doing everything that's ununifying. They are going out and rioting in the streets. They're going out. Antifa and BLM are still at it. Antifa and BLM
they're in D.C. right now.
Thank you. Exactly. This is what we are expecting when it comes to the left. This is so typical.
And are you seeing it in the news? Are you seeing
it
in the news?
Nope,
not at all.
Craig,
peaceful protest.
Craig, why do we not see it in the news?
Come on.
Because the left, they run all the major institutes. They run media, big tech, political administrative positions, academia, even Hollywood. They run it all. If you go to Cuba, there's only one station. The government runs the broadcasting.
See what happens?
The media.
Exactly.
So they run it all. It's communism. They're pushing an agenda. Well, America is not the America that we once knew anymore.
No, and you can't even fly to Florida anymore.
Florida is the resistance right now.
Yes.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say you can't fly to Florida. Sorry, we have to cover our butts. They are proposing that Florida is so racist due to its COVID policy that it now needs to be punished for the security of all the rest of the state by introducing draconian travel restrictions that remind me of certain walls that were put up in Eastern Europe that prevented people from leaving, not prevented people from getting in.
Yeah, because Lucas, because I know you already know that they're more open. They have Disneyland open. Their numbers are down. They're the beacon of hope in the United States for actually keeping everything open and moving forward with these restrictions.
And that's North Dakota, actually.
And their numbers are the lowest, right?
Yeah, and
amongst the lowest.
Trump's in Mar-a-Lago down there. The governor has been standing strong with the riots and with restrictions. So why do you think that Florida is now the part of the resistance?
Well, you know what? I feel like that was brewing, right? It's been a long time coming. Florida, they are advocates of the Second Amendment.
Yes, sir.
It's a red state.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like they literally, I honestly felt it would be between Florida and Texas. I didn't know who would do it first, Florida or Texas. But
Texas need to step up. What's going on?
Texas need to step up, right?
Hey, Craig.
I mean, Texas is doing their thing too now. They're
doing the Beto O'Rourke thing.
Lord.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Craig. Why is Florida doing their thing out there? What are you guys doing out there?
We're the resistance, man. Now, YouTube is just a joke.
Metaphorically speaking, you know what I'm saying?
You know, our government is our governor. He's awesome, man.
Dude, really?
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm a local business owner here. When they closed us down for 3 months, it hit us hard. Yeah. It hit every business out here hard. But we're very appreciative that he got us back open.
Yes, sir.
He got us back open. You have some liberal pockets. They're real strict with the mask. But most of all, I mean, most of the time now, I kind of just go into the store. Nobody really bothers me.
Yes, sir.
You may have some
as it should be
mask Nazi police every now and then, but other than that, Florida's wide open.
So
man.
we call them SJWs, not masked Nazi police. It's called SJWs.
SJWs.
So is your governor going to run VP in 2024?
You see what I'm saying?
I feel like he's setting himself up to run.
Hey,
but he's also suing big tech, setting it up so that when politicians, Congress, they start running campaigns through big tech, which we already are experiencing what's going on with big tech, with the censorship. He's setting it up. He's suing them. He's setting it up to where they cannot censor when they run for campaigns, which we've experienced this entire process of putting someone in power this go round, right? So I love what he's doing. He's being a great example. I hope he keeps it up.
Yes.
He does not fold or bend or nil to these people.
And you know what? I want to get back to the whole QAnon thing because now I'm seeing this, and I was very skeptical, and now that everything's moving forward, we've talked about this with former head of the Alphabet people, right? John Brennan, talking about going after extremists. We got bills coming in from what's his name? I forget his name. The one that had the Chinese
the Chinese spy as his mistress.
Yeah, he's got a new legislation coming in for taking guns and rights away from people that are deemed as extremists. And then I'm looking at this Q, right? Mm-hmm. And at first I was skeptical, and I told people, because again, there was a movement before Q, and there was a movement before Trump. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know this. This was a movement before then. Trump came in and rode a wave. Once when they saw that there was someone running that was that wasn't controlled, we went behind him because we know something before Trump. We knew something before. So when I saw this Q, I go, you know what? It could be real, it could be not. But I never believe in faceless movements.
Right.
You know, that's anonymous, right? But it's so sad because I remember back in the day, like 10 years ago, I used to be like, look at this document right here, and it's talking about, I used to talk about how, Gates, whatever, was a eugenicist, right? And people would be like, the Microsoft dude, you're stupid, you know? And then now it's like, oh, he's trying to
Here it is.
So I'm looking at this and I'm going, I felt like Q was here to discredit us so that everything we talked about before, it's just a Q thing. See, centralized control from nation states to global.
I see what you're saying.
Global. You see what I'm saying? Like the EU. A lot of people don't know.
Can I shed some light on this?
The European Union, yeah. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't really know too much about Q or anything like that until a friend who's been big time into conspiracy theories for a long time explained this to me, and this has been the only explanation that made a lot of sense. That Q got really, really popular, 2015, 2016, 2017, right?
Yep.
And originally it was one account and one man who was basically, putting all these conspiracy theories out there. Some of them batshit crazy. Mm-hmm. Some of them surprisingly and eerily accurate. For example, before Epstein was ever caught, Q was talking about, hey, there's this crazy island, and hey, the world's elite are on flight logs, and I've got PDFs of flight logs.
Which I knew about way before Q, at least 5 years before Q.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. But then, actually, that account kind of died down, and it really wasn't until lockdowns that all these boomers that all of a sudden had time to be at home and go on YouTube and look up the old videos. All of a sudden, you looked at trending, and this hashtag QAnon, which was just, anonymous from the old 4chan and channel boards and stuff, all of a sudden started spiking and trending. And I noticed whether it was in the Holistic Moms Facebook group or whether it was in the vegan, sandwich makers group or in church groups or whatever, all of a sudden there was this resurgence of, oh, did you hear about these QAnon things, right? And it's like, this is another tragedy of the lockdowns. Anybody that wants to link QAnon to the January 6th riots, you can do that. But now you also need to link lockdowns. You need to link the fact that Q only gained power because a bunch of unemployed, underemployed, nailed to their floorboards in their house people.
I think it's all rabbit hole stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it can't all be rabbit hole stuff. They caught Epstein.
Okay.
They didn't catch him though because
that's true.
They killed him. So they made sure that this man was going to go out by not.
But
he was going to go out by himself.
It's like idle hands are the devil's workshop. The only reason why any of this Q nonsense, in as much as it was nonsensical or destructive, the only reason why that gained any kind of steam was because of the lockdown.
Yeah. So, Craig, if you want to keep going with that, and then I'll finish my thought, or Hulk, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Put your thought in it, because
baby.
So I believe that now again because I've seen this with Anonymous. Remember Anonymous before that? Do you remember that with the little V? I noticed how the V for Vendetta mask, and I noticed how it transpired, and then I saw this coming forward, and I was like, okay, you know what, this is it. I truly believe that it had good intel, but the problem is with any type of disinformation campaign, they put in all the good stuff so you believe it, but then they give disinformation to discredit it.
There it is.
So now that we're moving forward and we saw the final blueprint, because now they're disappeared, right?
Yeah.
And they said a lot of claims that didn't come true, and a lot of them that did come true. But now you've seen, as we've been set up on the right, and I really got to touch base on this because we need to disown this right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's going to discredit any type of movement moving forward when it comes to child trafficking. Oh, that's a Q thing. Centralized control like the European Union, but on our side, on the world stage, when it comes to the United Nations, the Council on Foreign Relations, and Trilateral Commission, it's a Q thing. Moving forward, now it's a Q thing, right? Now it's discredited. Us in our movement is now discredited. We've seen in January 6th what happened. Now we are domestic, right?
Right.
Now moving forward, now we see all the legislation coming in and the PR rollouts that I've seen before. That actually none of that seen, but I researched about September whatever. There was a complete PR rollout about how Osama bin Laden was not was our enemy prior to when in the 90s he was our asset, and I'm seeing the same PR campaign now about us. And now they're pushing legislation. All it takes is one little small event, maybe an F flag, right? Or a false F, right? That would become, now it's discredited. Now we're discredited. Yeah. And now moving forward, do we really need legislation for people to turn us radical QAnon Trump supporters turn us in like Nazi Germany or like because they don't even enforce
they did it to the Japanese 20 miles from here.
Yeah, exactly. So now we don't need a law.
I don't think
we don't need a law. I'm almost done. We don't need a law now because people enforce the mask without laws. So how many people going to turn us in because we were those crazy little people and those because the media demonizes. I truly believe deep down in my heart there could be an event. There could be an event,
but I'm not sure it's even possible for it to get that way. Only because when you look at the sheer numbers of people that are actually realizing and that can think for themselves and know what's going on, those people can't be silenced when it comes to word of mouth and how we congregate, right? So they
but they're stopping how we congregate and they're silencing us. I mean, you can't go to church, you can't go to any stores, you can't participate on athletic teams, you can't go to rifle ranges in half these states now.
But even if they discredit everything that we say as disinformation or conspiracy theories, QAnon, that literally just happened to me the other day. I was in a store and I was just talking to somebody about child sex trafficking, and they said, "Oh, are you one of those QAnon people?"
And that's my point.
Said, I don't got nothing to do with QAnon, but this child sex trafficking is real.
And so that's my point. See how it's now discredited, and now moving forward with all this PR rollout about how we're enemies. And about with these people putting in policies and CNN doing the PR campaign, it don't look good. So for Hulk and Craig, what do you guys think I said? Do you feel something in your bones that something's not right here?
Well, you look at what happened with PB, right? How easy it was to put legislation out and label them as domestic terrorists, right? I really can't say that this won't happen to QAnon. Oh, these people, they're a danger to society. Look what they did on January 6th. Look at these people. Look at these crazy conspiracy theorists, these kooky conspiracy theorists. We need to put forth some type of legislation to round up these Q supporters.
Because deep state is a conspiracy theory.
Oh, it's a big time conspiracy theory, right? And all you got to do is get the news to propagate this. And I mean, we see what happens when the news gets a hold of any type of story. Oh my gosh! I mean, it's World War III. So
what do you think, Craig? What is it?
My,
do you feel
my red flags go up. Anything that the left go after and attack, my red flags go up.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, before we end here, I offer one little bit of hope, of esperanza, as we say in Spanish.
Esperanza.
I actually think the fire of Gina Carano is going to be a turning point. Because you notice that right off the bat, Ben Shapiro said, "You come, and you are going to headline our movie." And he'd already made a movie because the right is finally waking up to the fact that you need to start creating the culture.
Yes.
You've ceded culture from being an American thing to being a left thing. Right. And I'm sorry, it's not. Yeah. All right? Yeah. You look at my church, for example. I went to a very extremely conservative university. I think it's called Stone Cold Sober by U.S. News and World Report. Yeah. Wow. I went to Brigham Young University. Wow. All right? It's a Mormon university, so conservative that I think this might be just an apocryphal story, and I might be contributing to hearsay here, but the word on the street is that they buy up all the alcohol permits in like a 10-mile radius of the university.
That sounds like gossip.
So that, you know, like, like you're not allowed to drink on campus, no premarital sex. No, like, I mean, it is the antithesis of like, you know, Animal House college party, all right? However, you got to give them credit because they produce more organists, more performance pianists. They have one of the the oldest film schools in the West. All right. And on top of it, like you can't go to any building where they are not singing hymns in 4-part harmony. If you are a man at the university, you are expected to sing on key and or play the piano, like practically as a liturgical duty. All right. So, I mean, you know, there's no reason that the right can't produce good content and good movies, but they let that go in the 70s. You know, and they never got it back. And honestly, it seems like Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire are some of the only people that are saying, no, we're going to start making cool movies too. Dinesh is, but Dinesh is kind of propaganda. It's propaganda you may agree with, but it's a little bit propaganda-y. And Christian cinema, it's Christian propaganda. Like
I like Dinesh D'Souza.
Yeah, I love Dinesh.
No, I like him too, but I'm just saying I recognize it's red meat for wolves. Like, you know, I want to sit there and hate Democrats right now because they just taxed me extra. So I'm going to watch a Dinesh D'Souza movie. You know, he's like the Rush Limbaugh of cinema. You know what I'm saying?
It is truth, though.
No, I'm not saying it's not truth, but I recognize that it's red meat for wolves, right?
Yeah.
So I offer a little bit of hope that if Gina Carano can get picked up for a like not right-wing SJW and not right-wing woke and not hyper-Christian, if they can make a normal for the average American person movie and the right can start creating content again, like the Marine rapper is in music, like Topher is in rap, if they could start doing that to cinema, I think there will be a comeback, if you will.
Let's go.
Oh, did you like that?
Let's go.
Oh,
Craig, what do you think about that?
I mean, he hit it on the nail.
Yeah.
He hit it on the nail.
Thank you.
But my thing is, how are they, with us trying to create that type of content, movies, cinema, that type of art, how are they going to block us from that? You know, they're so extreme, they will find a way to try to block us from it, man.
No, but then we got to have our own Woodstock, baby. You know, you can't block that many people coming to Woodstock. Or somebody can have their own network. If we have our own network, where are we going to go? I mean, it's 75 plus million.
We can produce it on Kanye's Wyoming ranch.
Let's go. Yeah. You got plenty of space.
That's
Let's
part
just
of the
walk in
Astro.
and see what security says. You know,
that's part of why he's building it.
Hey,
low key. That's
we're on the same page. Yeah, I mean, come on, let us in. So I think, I think we have a message for all the celebrity woke celebs, woke rappers,
yes, sir.
Hollywood and Disney,
yes, sir,
and for the most part, the movement that's discrediting our movement. I think we can all say one thing.
You ain't black. You ain't black.
And you ain't black.